Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chapter 13, Quadratic Equations, Exercise 13J. I'm going to make two videos for this exercise. In the first video, I will cover these three ideas or these three goals, and in my other video, then I will discuss what will be the goals. Okay, so you are going to face three challenges. What is the first goal or the first challenge? To solve a quadratic equation using the formula. So this is the formula that you are going to use, the difference of squares formula. Like the first term will be squared and the second term will be squared, and there will be a minus sign between them. Then you can factorize it. You can say a plus b into a minus b. Here is the example. So here, as you clearly can see, this is a squared and this is actually 5 squared. So how I can write my answer? I can say it's a plus 5 or a minus 5 equals 0. So either the first factor will be 0, that is a plus 5 will be 0, or the second factor a minus 5 will be 0. And from here I will move this positive 5, it will change into negative 5, and I will get the value of a, that is negative 5. And similarly here, when I will move this negative 5 to the other side, it will change into positive 5, and finally I will find the values of a. That means the equation is solved, and these are the possible values of a, right? Okay, let's discuss the second objective now. To solve a quadratic equation by taking out the GCF. This is the first method that we learned for factorizing, that if there is a GCF, we pull out the GCF to factorize any expression. As you can see here in example number 2, what is the GCF? The GCF is x. Right? So what will you do? You will divide this one by x, and you will divide this one by x, and you will pull out the GCF, that is x. So let's pull it out. It's x, and then this x and this x, they will cancel each other, and only 4 will be left here. Minus x squared divided by x will be obviously x. So we will have 5x equals 0. Now we have two factors here. Let me show you. This is our first factor and this is the second factor, right? So again we will say either the first factor is 0, either x is 0, or the second one 4 minus 5x is 0. Now what will you do? You will move this 4 to the other side, or you can move 5x to the other side. It's your choice. I will move 5x to the other side, so it will change into positive 5x. So 4 equals 5x. And now divide each side by 5. So this one will be divided by 5. The 5 will cancel 5, and here only x will be left. So we will get x equals 4 over 5. So this is like one answer, and the other answer is here, this one. So we got two possible values of x. If you remember, I told you in my first video of exercise 13G that there will be two answers for each quadratic equation. Now let's go to the third example, and here the third goal. It says to solve a quadratic equation by factorizing when it will be like this. So like it will be having 3 terms. This is the standard form of that quadratic equation. And what are we going to use? We are going to use the AC method. And all of you know we have used it many times. So what will you do? You will move this 15 to the other side. If you look at the third example, it's not in the standard form. So first you will move this 15 to the other side to get the standard form of the quadratic equation. So this is positive 15 here. So on this side, it will become negative 15, and here it will be 0. I will explain it in detail when I will be solving the questions from the exercise. So here, if you factorize it, you will get x minus 5 and into x plus 3 equals 0. And similarly again you will say either this factor is 0 or this factor is 0, and you will get the values of x, that is positive 5, and x equals negative 3. So these are our 3 main types of questions for today. So let's start and solve the questions from the exercise. This is question number 4 from the exercise. Let's see what can we do here. Okay, first of all, I will think about because this one is a square term, but this one is not a square term, right? So, and there's a positive sign between them. So for sure, we cannot use the formula. What else we can do? It does not have 3 terms. This shows that I cannot use the AC method. So the only option that is left for me is to think about the GCF. Now what is the GCF here? Think, okay, 2 and 7, they do not have any number in common, but x squared and x, I told you that whenever we look at the variables, we have to choose the one that is with the lower power. So this is x squared, this is only x, so the GCF will be x. On the next step, to know what will be left inside the bracket, if we pull out the GCF, we can divide each term by x. So you will write x outside, right? This is the GCF that we have pulled out. 2 here, because 2 cannot be cancelled with n. Here x squared divided by x, only one x will be left, plus here this x will be cancelled with this one, and what will be left here? 7 will be left here, equals 0, right? Now what can we do? We can say we have two factors now. This is our first factor and this one is the second factor, right? So we will say either the first factor is 0, either x is 0, or the second factor. What is the second factor? It's 2x plus 7. So either 2x plus 7 is 0. From here I can get the value of x. How? First I will move this 7 to the other side. It will change into -7 on the other side. So 2x equals -7. And now divide each side by 2. So this 2 will cancel 2, and finally x will be equal to -7/2. So we will write the final answer, that is x equals 0 and or I'll write over here, better write or x equals -7/2, because it's an improper fraction, so you can change it into a mixed number, right? You can write it also as x equals -3 and 1 out of 2. Like you can divide 7 by 2 in the rough work, and 2 times 3 is 6. So how can you make the mixed numbers? 3 will become the whole number and 1 out of 2. So this is your final answer. You can write it in this way, or you can write the second value as this, right? So this is how you will solve using the GCF. Now so better pause the video here and solve this question number 16 on your own, and then play the video to check your answer. So here is the answer for question number 16. Clearly you can see that GCF was x, so it was pulled out. So the first factor is x, and then here we moved, because -2x was it was negative, so better move it to the other side to get to change it into a positive, right? So this is all. Like 5/2 is an improper fraction, you can change it into mixed number, but even 5/2 will also be accepted. Let's see, what do we have more to solve? Now here, if you look at this question, 9x squared minus 1 equals 0. So clearly 9x squared is the square of 3x, right? And 1 is the square of 1. So I can use the formula here. What is the formula? This shows that a squared minus b squared. I have this situation. So the answer, it becomes a plus b into a minus b, right? So this one is the square of 3x. So I can say 3x plus 1. Once we can add it, and once we can subtract it. So this is how we can factorize this side of the equation equals 0. Now the next steps are very simple. We got both the factors. We will say either the first factor is 0. What is the first factor? It's 3x plus 1 equals 0. Now first move 1 to the other side, it will change into -1. So we will have 3x equals -1. Now how can we eliminate or eliminate this 3? So we can divide this side by 3, and we can divide this side by 3. So 3 will cancel 3, and finally x will be equal to -1/3. And on the other side we have like the other factor. It says 3x minus 1 is 0. So first you will move this -1 to the other side. It will change into +1. So we will have 1 over here, and then you will divide this side by 3. You will divide this side by 3. So x equals 1/3, because this 3 and this 3 will be cancelled, right? So we got two values of x, that x equals -1/3 or x equals 1/3. So these are the two possible answers. Look at question number 12. I want you to solve it on your own, but before that, quickly let me tell you, you can move either 4 to that side and you can have 0 here, or you can bring 25x squared to this side and you can have 0 on that side. I prefer to take this 4 to the other side so we can have the x term as positive. So if you move that 4 to the other side, it will change into -4, and here only 0 will be left. So we can say 0 equals 25x squared minus 4, which can also be written as 25x squared minus 4 equals 0. Now pause the video here, use the same formula in this question and play the video to check your answer. So here is the answer for question number 12. I removed question number 6 from here because it was the homework question. So clearly you can see that this one is the square of 5x and this one is the square of 2. So we can use the formula. Once we will add 5x plus 2, and then once we will subtract it, and finally we will solve it to get the values of x. Let's solve some more questions here. First of all, when I look at the question, I have 3 terms over here. One of the term is x squared and the other term is having x, and this one is a constant number. That means it has 3 terms. If I write it in the standard, if I want to write it in the standard form, these 2 terms should be on the right side and this side should have 0 only, right? It must have 0. So let's move these 2 terms to the other side. So both of them are positive here. So if they will be moved to the other side, they will change into negative, right? So I will get x squared minus 2x minus 35 equals 0. Now clearly you can see that this is the standard form of a quadratic equation, or you can say the left hand side is a quadratic expression. So I can use the AC method to factorize it. For that, I can put 1 over here and multiply 1 with this negative 35. So I'll get over here negative 35. Now this negative sign, many times I explained in my videos that this negative sign, it tells us to subtract the factor pairs that we will make over here, and it also tells us to put different signs when we will be making the final factors right here for this expression. So different signs we have to place over there, right? Let's make the factors. So if I go with 1 times 35 and I subtract it, it is giving me 34 that I do not need because I'm looking for this 2. So 7 times 5, if I subtract it, it gives me 2. So for sure I need this pair. And how I will write my answer? X, I do not have any actually number here with this x. There is no coefficient except 1. So when the coefficient is 1, we write only x here. And then I'll write the bigger number 7, and then I will write x, and the smaller number 5 equals 0. Now the middle sign here, this middle sign, it goes with the larger number. So this one will be negative. And what about the other one? I have to put a different sign here. So the other one will get the positive sign. Now what will you say? You will say either the first factor is 0. What is the first factor? The first factor is x minus 7 equals 0. Now move this 7 to the other side. It will change into positive 7. So x equals 7 is our first solution. And then we can say or x plus 5 is 0. And now we will move this 5 to the other side to isolate the x. So x equals negative 5. This will be our other solution, right? So we got both the solutions. So this is the first solution and this is the second solution. Let me write it over here. Just 1 second. So the final answer will be x equals 7 or x equals negative 5. So I'll highlight it. So this is the final answer, right? Is it clear for everyone? So nothing is new. We are factorizing as we learned the factorization in chapter 12, and then we are just finally getting the values of x. And if you want to check that is your answer right, both these answers are right or wrong, you can put them in the equation. If your left hand side and right hand side will have the same answers, that means your answers are correct. Okay, here we have another question, and by the way, it's already in the standard form. Better pause the video here, factorize it, and find the answer, find the values of x, and then play the video to check your answer. So here is the answer for this question number 21. Because we were having a coefficient 6 with this x squared, so that's why when we will write the factors, we will write over here 6x plus 15. I got 15 from this pair, right? Okay, and here we will write 6x minus 2. Now 6 and 15 could be simplified with the table of multiplication table of 3. So you will divide both these terms by 3. So this will be the final factor, the real factor. And here it can be simplified with 2. So you will simplify it, and this will be the second factors. So these are our final factors for this quadratic equation. You can say the for the left hand side. And then either the right and this first factor 2x plus 5 is 0, or this 3x minus 1 is 0, and then you will solve it here because we are getting an improper fraction, so you can change it into a mixed number. So the final answer will be this one, right? Either it will be equal to x equals negative 5 over 2, that can also be written as negative 2.5, and the second value of x is 1 over 3. So the first value of x is this one, and this is the second value of x. That's all for this video. For this part of the exercise, we have another part of the exercise. I will make another video for that part. That's all.